How can I get started in real estate? Is this a question I hear all the time or what? I'm going to show you right here, right now, how people build wealth in real estate and how they get started. And it isn't what you think. So join me. Here we go. So how do I get started in real estate? Well, the most common question I hear all the time is how do I get started in real estate? And let's talk about it. So most of us that got started in real estate, we really just started with something small, like a condo or a small house. I've heard Ken McElroy talk about, he bought his first house was a condo, and my first house was a condo. Grant Cardone talks about his first house was a small house he bought. So we all started small, and what happens is that we learned how to earn. We learned the business, okay? But we weren't so fearful that we never tried. We didn't wait to pull the trigger forever. So for those of you that want to, get into this game and build wealth and be a real estate investor, I would say just by watching this video, you're already on your way, because you're learning from a real estate investor who does this every day, who's been successful. When you want to become a real estate investor, it's super important that you understand the 4 fundamentals of being a real estate investor. Number 1 is having your financial act together. That means fixing or improving your credit, and that's a process, not an event, okay? Building up your credit score. Number 2, creating capital, either your own or other people's money, but having capital to invest. Because if you don't have capital to invest, it's kind of difficult to do real estate. You can do stuff. I talk about, wholesaling and some of the other things in some of my other videos, buying property, no money down, owner occupied with a grant. But typically as an investor, you're going to need some capital, all right? You're either going to need to raise capital, or you're going to have your own capital, or you're going to have to borrow capital out of one of your properties. And importantly, the second part of that, besides credit and capital, or the third part actually would be credit capital, is understanding the marketplace. I always talk about things like price per door or price per square foot. Knowing what things are worth. What's that house worth over there, compared to, say, this land right here compared to this house hiding up here on the hill, what is it worth, and why is it worth that, and why is one house more valuable than another house, right? So how do you learn that? You learn that by watching videos, by educating yourself, by reading books. And I'm going to tell you, every real estate investor I know has all studied other real estate investors. I mean, that's how we became successful. We learned by studying other people and what they do. And we did it by experience, right? We hung around people that were experienced, that were mentors, etc. So my first development deal, I was around a guy who had 30 years in development. That was my first development deal. I did a development deal with him. My first foreclosure deal, I worked with a guy who had years of experience, all right? So that's how I started that deal. You got to know your market, like price per square foot, price per door. What does a neighborhood like this, sell for? And would you invest here, or would you want to live here? But look at these homes, right? They're beautiful, but these homes are $2 or $3 million. Is this where you're going to start? No, you're not going to start here. Okay, this is where you want to end up potentially, right? Or maybe never end up here. Maybe you don't want to spend $3 million on a house. You rather put $3 million in an apartment building, and that would be somebody like me. See, I'd rather have a $3 million apartment building that pays me every month than have a house that's draining my cash. And so this is why most people are not wealthy, is neighborhoods like this, where they are over leveraged and they're paying a lot of money. And I made that mistake. I was somebody that went and spent a bunch of money on a big home, and I realized very quickly that it wasn't for me, because there's no money in the big house. The big house doesn't make you wealthy. The apartments make you wealthy. The rental income makes you wealthy. Now this house right here used to be my house, right? This is where I bought this house for $1.6 million. Today it's probably worth $3.6 million, okay? Beautiful house, beautiful neighborhood. But I sold that house and I bought property that was going to pay me, okay? That's on 1.5 acres in Alamo, California. And I bought property that was going to pay me, property that was going to put money in my pocket every single month. I had another house in Vegas I sold, and I bought an apartment building. An apartment building gives me $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 a month, right? So if you want to get started in real estate, don't buy houses like this. Don't buy expensive stuff that you can't afford. Don't try to look rich until you are rich, okay? And when you become rich in real estate, if you do, and you are blessed with a good fortune, like many of us have, you will realize that these things that you thought were important, that you thought were going to make you look rich, don't really matter to you anymore, okay? They're just not that important, especially housing, okay? Now, I drive a nice car, and a lot of real estate investors do, but I drive a lot for my business, right? So I want to be comfortable. And I don't want to be in a position where, as a real estate investor, I'm, looking like I don't have any money, okay? Because that's not really what the game's about for me at my level. But when you're starting out, you don't need a fancy car, you don't need a fancy house, you don't need expensive clothes. What you need is curiosity, motivation, and I guess the word would be the opposite of coward. All right, you need to have some bravery. You need to be willing to take a shot, to do things, to buy stuff, and to try, right? And of course, use your realtor, use your broker, talk to your tax accountant, find out how real estate can benefit you, okay? Find out if you buy real estate, how's that going to help you potentially reduce your taxes so you're not paying so much money to the government, which it may do for you, depending on how much you make, and depending on if you are a real estate investor or not, depending on your income. So all these things your tax accountant can help you with. I don't want to make a blanket statement saying if you buy real estate, it's going to help you tax-wise. That depends on every person's situation. But I will tell you, as a professional real estate investor, you are going to have some benefits of owning real property. So, like I said in the beginning, you could start small, okay? You don't start big. Everybody starts small. Nobody starts big. Unless you inherited a bunch of money or inherited property, everybody starts with a little bit of money and a little bit of property and a lot of motivation and some fearlessness of pulling the trigger and taking a shot and trying, right? Trying, okay? So the fourth most important aspect of real estate is why you should subscribe, because you need a mentor, okay? Mentors can save you lots and lots of money by not getting yourself in trouble doing stupid stuff. I helped a friend of mine. She inherited some money, her and her family, buy a 60-unit building in Tampa, okay? She had no idea how to do it. Her name is Astrid. Her testimonial is on my website at paulmaguirerealestate.com. But she didn't know what she was doing, right? But I was a mentor and I helped her. And the same situation on the other side of the coin, I had a mentor who helped me with a development deal, a commercial, and I'd never done one before like that. Not that size. It was 40,000 square feet. And he said, let's start with something small. Let's do the 6,800 square foot building first. So we did, and guess what happened? 2008, 2009, the economic crash, okay? And had we started with the 27,000 square foot building, because it all added up to 40 feet, I'd have been in big trouble, right? So one of the things about getting started in real estate is start small and learn the business, have a mentor, subscribe, watch, learn, take a few hours a day and watch real estate videos and learn what the hell you're doing. Don't start spending a bunch of money for deals before you even know what you're doing, right? Learn the terms. Talk to bankers, okay? Talk to mortgage brokers. Find out what money's available to you. Private money, bank money, programs to help you get started. FHA programs, fixer-upper programs, the 203, I think it's called, program, or first-time homebuyer programs, private money that may give you money to help you get started. Okay, there's a lot of things you could do to be successful in real estate, but let me tell you how you won't be successful. Running in full speed, thinking you know what the hell you're doing, and not having help. All right, we all had help. My real estate that I own now, which is millions of dollars, I got staff that help me, I got tax accountants that help me, I got realtors that help me, I got lenders that help me, okay? Build a team, all right? Have people that know what they're talking about and have experience. And let me tell you another big downfall. Don't listen to people who don't own any real estate, okay? Don't listen to people who aren't at least a millionaire or more, all right? You should be talking to people that own a lot of real estate, that know exactly what they're doing. Now, some of these people you're going to talk to are just going to be over your head, okay? That's okay. Listen. But, you know, if people are buying 50, 60, 70, $100 million buildings, you know, they're a long ways away from buying a duplex or a fourplex or single family home or a small 8, 10, 12, 20 unit building, okay? I still buy that stuff because when I got started in real estate, that's where I started. I know it well. I've never bought a 50 or 60 or $70 million building. I bought, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 in process of buying a $7 million building. It's just one more zero. It's not different. But you need a lot more capital and there's a lot more competition, and the cap rates and your return can be a little tougher, and it's probably out of reach for most people unless you're investing with a syndicator. So at the end of the day, to get started in real estate, it requires 4 things: cash, credit, understanding of how you can buy property with cash, without cash, with credit, without credit, all of which I cover on my videos. And as well, and most importantly, a mentor, somebody that's going to show you how to be successful in real estate, okay? And answer your questions, you know, that you could call and say, hey, I got a question here on this or that, okay? These mentorship groups, all right? The learning on the videos on YouTube, it's critical. The reading of books, okay? Learn, all right? Learn, and you can make potentially a lot of money in real estate. There's 4 pillars of real estate that can make you successful. One is appreciation. That can make you a lot of money where property goes up. 2 is depreciation, where you're decreasing the value of the building on cash flow, which is a tax benefit. 3 is cash flow, right? And 4, and a lot of people don't talk about this, is the peace of mind and security of owning real estate, of knowing that you have something long-term that can take care of you. And real estate, my friend, is a long-term game, okay? The big money in real estate is not made flipping. The big money in real estate is made by buying property and potentially never selling it till you're dead. And you're looking at a guy that rarely sells, rarely. Refi cash out when I need it, and I invest in more real estate, and I use the cash flow to live on and use depreciation to offset cash flow as allowed under the law. That's how you get started in real estate. I'm Paul Maguire. Join me on the next video where I'm going to talk to you about how you can actually find abandoned homes and where they are, and how you can get a hold of those in your area. So I'll see you there.